The screen displayed a recording of a robot executing a precise and deliberate slap through the air, generating a powerful shockwave. It then swiftly turned and unleashed a forceful kick, which similarly sent a shockwave rippling outward. In the conference room of the military department, the marshals' eyes remained locked on the screen. Their astonished expressions and gaping mouths revealed their disbelief at the sheer strength of Lu Sheng's body refinement technique. One of the marshals, overwhelmed with emotion, broke into a delighted smile. He explained that although the robot's movements appeared simple, merely watching and mentally simulating them sparked countless ideas and inspirations. The mustached marshal clenched his fist, unable to contain his excitement. The officer seated next to him braced his hands on the table before standing up, his gaze bright with amazement, a grin spreading across his face. Just as the previous marshal had mentioned, he, too, felt as if a new path had opened before him, a revelation that illuminated his understanding of the martial path. It was as though an entirely new world had been unveiled. The marshals, consumed by exhilaration, tightened their fists in celebration. With Lu Sheng's body refinement technique, they realized their strength would reach unprecedented levels. At the center of their gathering, the marshal of the Central District observed the unfolding reactions. Rising from his seat, he fell into deep contemplation. Yet, as he witnessed their enthusiasm, his gaze softened with tranquility. Stroking his beard, a confident smile emerged on his face. He was certain that they now comprehended the true magnitude of Lu Sheng's technique. Though seemingly straightforward, once practiced, its extraordinary potential became apparent. The robot placed its hand over its chest and greeted everyone with a friendly smile. At that moment, the Central District Marshal paused the video. With a confident expression, he gestured toward the screen with his thumb and revealed their test results. The data showed that Lu Sheng's technique was at least 5 times more effective than the 24 body refinement forms currently used by the army. More astonishingly, it unlocked human potential to a degree 100 times greater than before. Upon hearing this, the marshals sprang to their feet, fists clenched, eyes ablaze with exhilaration. This technique wasn't just an improvement, it was a revolutionary tool that would usher in a new era in martial development. The mustached marshal's thoughts drifted to the limitless possibilities, envisioning a mountain of gold coins. His eyes glistened with sheer delight, realizing that this refinement technique was an invaluable treasure for the military, truly a gift from the heavens. He imagined himself engulfed in martial flames, acknowledging that only someone who had attained the pinnacle of the martial path, someone like Lu Sheng, could have conceived such a profound technique. As excitement filled the room, one of the marshals raised his hand and coughed. The Central District Marshal and the others turned toward him, their expressions shifting to curiosity. Fixing his gaze on the Central District Marshal, the raised hand officer extended his arm forward, a look of apprehension clouding his face. In a hesitant yet serious tone, he posed a crucial question: should such an invaluable technique truly be integrated across the entire army? Fear flickered in his eyes as he elaborated. If the method became widespread, there was a risk it could leak beyond their ranks. If that were to happen, by the time they attempted damage control, it might already be too late. The Central District Marshal clasped his hands behind his back, his eyes briefly shutting as he let out a composed breath. With a serene smile, he responded, the generosity behind this technique was a testament to the noble spirit of a true martial saint. Revealing that Lu Sheng had already made his intentions clear, the marshal stated, "This technique was created to benefit the entire world." A hush fell over the room. The marshals, momentarily stunned, exchanged silent glances. One of them closed his eyes and solemnly admitted that, despite living over a century, he had wasted his years in comparison. Lu Sheng alone possessed a heart vast as the cosmos, a vision spanning the galactic river itself. Not only was he superior in martial prowess, but his foresight eclipsed even the wisdom of other martial saints. The Central District Marshal extended his hand, his voice firm. They were on the brink of witnessing history. with his fist clenched, eyes gleaming, and a triumphant smile gracing his lips. He declared that the dawn of a new age, one forged by the god of war, had arrived. The room erupted in cheers, the energy palpable. Meanwhile, at a military camp in the eastern region where helicopters and military vehicles lined the area, a soldier balanced on a single finger, performing handstand push-ups. His breath was labored, and beneath him, a pool of sweat glistened. He had completed 3,548 repetitions, pushing himself beyond his limits for one more. Just as he was about to continue, a voice called out his name, Liu Kaiming. Startled, his eyes flickered with curiosity. Lowering himself, he turned toward the source of the voice with a serious expression. Approaching him was a leaner version of his old friend, Lu Sheng's companion. The newcomer, wearing glasses, greeted him with a wave and an eager smile. With excitement in his voice, he announced that he had 2 pieces of important news and asked which one Liu Kaiming wanted to hear first. Drenched in sweat, Liu Kaiming straightened and, intrigued, chose the first. The young man's eyes gleamed with confidence. Smiling, he revealed that a god of war had emerged within the army, a level 9 martial saint, the 4th to exist within the dragon domain. Liu Kaiming's eyes widened in shock. He immediately wanted to know the identity of this martial god. Raising a finger, the friend admitted that the name had yet to be publicly disclosed. Many speculated that it could be General Lei Yang. Lu Sheng, however, had vanished in Binhai a year ago, and since then, no one had heard from him. Because of this, he found the theory unlikely. Liu Kaiming grinned excitedly, admitting that his friend had a point. Eager for more information, he inquired about the second piece of news. Beaming, the young man raised both hands. This news, he claimed, was even greater. The army had just implemented a revolutionary body refinement technique crafted by none other than their god of war. Rumors claimed its effects were 100 times superior to previous methods. Holding up a USB drive, his face shone with excitement as he explained that soldiers across multiple regions had shattered their martial bottlenecks within hours of practicing it. Their strength had surged instantly. Liu Kaiming, elated, threw an arm around his friend's shoulder and laughed. What were they waiting for? They had to get to the training room immediately. His friend grinned and willingly followed. As the duo walked away, an unseen figure quietly observed them. It was none other than Lu Sheng himself, arms crossed, his gaze warm with satisfaction at his friend's growth. A soldier wearing glasses approached and respectfully bowed before speaking. Liu Kaiming had worked tirelessly, now ranked as a second-class martial artist and standing out among his generation. Per Lu Sheng's previous orders, high-risk missions had been kept out of his path. With a composed expression, Lu Sheng instructed the soldier to continue providing resources to Liu Kaiming but discreetly, without his knowledge. The soldier acknowledged the command. Lu Sheng shut his eyes briefly before turning away, a small smile lingering on his lips. He remarks it's time to strengthen the military from the ground up. No matter how small the step, it's a move in the right direction. With the new body tempering method and other techniques in place, even regular soldiers would now stand a better chance when facing the beasts, and perhaps be the difference between death and survival. Days passed quickly, and word began spreading. And even fighters outside the military started training with the new technique. One of them, feeling the surge of power in his body, bursts with excitement because he's just broken into the 3rd level. Young people take to the streets to celebrate, especially those from the military. With their god of the military now standing behind them, they feel no need to bow their heads even when facing disciples of other martial saints. Back with Liu Sheng, he senses immense energy swirling constantly around him. It's not your typical energy, but something more spiritual, and it began to press in from all directions. He can almost hear the cheers and praises. And this wave of recognition actually boosts his strength a bit more. He reflects, wondering if this is what it means to be powered by the belief of countless people. Like receiving offerings from 1,000,000 souls, granting a form of eternal existence. It was the kind of thing he'd only ever seen in stories before. The power feels eerily similar to that of worship. And this very power is almost like a divine ability tied to rebirth and renewal, sort of like what Xiao Jai had. But he doesn't believe he should become a god. Instead, he sees himself becoming a symbol. He remarks that, "I am martial arts, and martial arts are me." And when he becomes strong enough, every person across the world, and perhaps even the universe who follows the path of martial arts, will naturally become his follower. In that instant, something inside him clears, and even more powerful energy starts to form slowly. The scene then cuts to the divine martial tower. At its highest level, Tanjong Yu is in meditation. Suddenly, he breaks into a cold sweat, eyes snapping open. He looks worn down, not just physically, but deep in the heart. He mutters to himself, saying that their paths were never the same, which is why they parted ways long ago. Still, he admits, he never imagined that the one who used to be just a promising 7th-level youngster could now defeat him so effortlessly. With a hand pressed to his chest, he can feel its cracks spreading all over his inner core, or precisely his martial heart. The battle on Thousand Saint Island had left a mark too deep. He had hoped to use Lu Sheng as a stepping stone to break through. But in the end, not only was he defeated, but even his martial avatar had been shattered. He lets out a quiet sigh, then forces a bitter smile. After a moment, he calms himself and insists that just because Lu Sheng is stronger, doesn't mean his path is the correct one. After all, Lu Sheng was only 20, already standing at the peak of humanity. But it's hard to believe he got there without some kind of miraculous encounter. He still remembers Lu Sheng once saying to him one day he would become a martial saint, and he would tear down this tower, break the chains of tradition, and spread martial arts across the world. Thinking about that now, he bursts into laughter and thinks it's ridiculous. He refuses to believe Lu Sheng would actually give away all his hard-earned techniques for free. Getting to his feet slowly, he feels much lighter. He remarks that right now, Lu Sheng is stronger, so it seems like his path is right. But he tells himself if the day comes when he surpasses Lu Sheng, then it'll be his path that's truly correct. Clenching his fist, he declares that Lu Sheng's time is running out anyway. He calls him reckless for stealing all those energy crystals. And he's convinced that once the guide appears, he will be walking straight into death. Suddenly, a man rushes in and kneels down saying he has some update on Lu Sheng. Tanjong Yu tells him to speak. And when he hears that Lu Sheng is promoting a new body tempering method and new martial techniques within the military, he spins around in shock, not trusting his own ears. The man goes on to explain it's not just that. Lu Sheng has also made his techniques public, and anyone outside of the military who wants to learn can also follow along. And then the footage begins playing on a large screen. Tanjong Yu stares at the video, his whole body trembling. He can't believe Lu Sheng would really give them away so openly. He stares, feeling a bit dazed. Suddenly, his knees buckle, and he drops to the ground. He mutters to himself, struggling to find the words. A heart is this vast. It goes beyond just being impressive. As the words leave his mouth, he suddenly hears the sound of glass shattering. It's not from the screen, rather was his martial heart. He stays there, slumped on the ground, feeling defeated. He then admits that he had lost, not just in strength, but everything. And compared to Lu Sheng, he's simply not enough. The scene shifts to the transcendent martial school. Xiao Jai sits alone in a quiet room, a little surprised to see Lin Jingu return so early. He asks if the guide has arrived ahead of schedule. She pulls down her cloak and shakes her head, saying no. The guide hasn't come. Xiao Jai grows anxious and asks why she's back then. What about the spirit-nurturing elixir? Unless, does she have some? But again, she shakes her head and tells him it's not about that, and tells him someone wanted to see him. Xiao Jai tries to guess who it could be, maybe Tanjong Yu. But he figures there's no need for that meeting. If they met now, it'd only be to mock him. Still, he reminded her that since she took his energy crystals and promised to protect him, she should stick to the deal. However, he still wanted to know what Tanjong Yu wanted from him. She shakes her head once more, saying it's not about Tan. It's someone else, someone he knows well. In the next second, a figure appears behind her. Xiao Jai freezes and doesn't expect this. Lin Jingu respectfully steps aside and calmly says the one who wants to see him is none other than Lord Lu Sheng, the peak of humanity. Our boy steps forward with a smile and greets him casually whilst Xiao Jai couldn't believe his eyes. His entire body begins to shake and stumbles back in panic, unable to form a full sentence. Then suddenly he blurts out a question. What did she just call Lu Sheng? She repeats once again, calling him Lord Lu Sheng, the peak of humanity. Then tells Xiao Jai she'll be returning everything he gave her. She reasoned that if she can't protect herself, there's no way she can protect him. By now, Xiao Jai is terrified. He doesn't understand. Why would a martial saint would call someone Lord and address him with such a title? Across the entire planet, who else could possibly be worthy of that kind of reverence from a 9th-level martial saint? He scrambles for answers, but no one comes to mind. Only one possibility remains, the guide who is at the 10th level. He stammers, barely able to speak, and asks, "Have you already reached the 10th level?" Sweat pours down his face. In just 1 year of his recovery, the world outside has clearly changed more than he ever imagined. Our boy doesn't answer, and he simply walks closer. Then he gives Xiao Jai 2 choices, life or death. The weight of our boy's gaze alone leaves him breathless. He can't think, can't speak, and his mind goes blank. Seeing no answer, Lu Sheng decides for him. He places a hand on his head. Within seconds, Xiao Jai's eyes go dull, and his body collapses backward. Lin Jingu bows deeply, thanking Lu Sheng for sparing his life. But our boy just turns away and says there's no need for thanks. To him, Xiao Jai is barely more than a dead man already. Turns out, our boy didn't kill him. But he erased most of Xiao Jai's memories and replaced them with new ones. Xiao Jai perhaps could never reach his peak again. In fact, even getting back to Grandmaster would be nearly impossible. Lu Sheng believes it's better this way. Rather than ending him, he'd reshape him, make him useful to the world and humanity in a different way. He even jokes to himself that maybe he really does have the heart of a saint after all. He adds that Xiao Jai will wake up soon, so they should give him some space. Xiao Jai remains slumped in place, empty and dazed. 5 minutes pass, he finally blinks and comes back to himself. Checking his body, he realizes he's still alive. He laughs wildly, thinking the heavens have granted him a second chance, saying he has been reincarnated. Then, without warning, tears begin to pour down his face. Thoughts of his parents flash through Xiao Jai's mind, followed closely by the memory of his wife. He remembers how horribly they died. His jaw clenches, eyes burning with fury. He declares he must return, must make those responsible pay in blood. But then comes the problem. How does he get back to his original world? Suddenly, he remembers the system. He quickly summons it. On the screen, a new mission appears, a task from a martial saint. Kill 10 million beasts to complete the goal and in return, receive the martial ancestor's inheritance. Martial ancestor, he repeats to himself. Could that be the same powerful being who sent him to this world? He fully believes it must be. Anyone capable of giving him a second life had to be someone on that level. He convinces himself that as long as he finishes the task, going back won't just be possible. Even bringing his family back to life might be within reach. He makes up his mind saying 10 million beasts is just a matter of time. In the very next moment, he dashes off heading straight for the front lines. His mind is filled with a single purpose now, which is to kill the beasts and rewrite his fate. Not far away, Lin Jingu watches in surprise. She can't believe what she's seeing. Shocked, she asks how Lu Sheng pulled that off. Our boy just brushes it off, saying it's nothing worth mentioning. What our boy really did was simply use a bit of his will projection, because Xiao Jai wasn't even a martial saint anymore. So tweaking a few memories was quite easy. He implemented memories from someone in the dream realm, weaved them into a believable memory, and then implanted them in Xiao Jai's mind. Just like that, a completely reborn Xiao Jai had emerged. As for the system, the mission, all of that was just cherries on top. And from now on, he'd dedicate his entire life to humanity's fight against the beasts. Our boy then remarks even he is touched by his own handiwork. Lin Jingu gulps nervously, the corner of her eye twitching. All she can say is, well, then he really is lucky. The two of them walk for a bit. Just then she notices her daughter hiding behind a tree. She snaps at her, asking what she is doing there. Startled, the girl jumped and quickly ran off. Lu Sheng smiles at her gently and recalls that Snowy had mentioned her before. But Lin Jingu misreads the moment, thinking our boy might have taken a liking to her daughter. She quickly offers, saying if he doesn't mind, she can accept on Wan's behalf. This came out of nowhere, and he quickly said he already has a fiancé. She casually points out that it's not unusual for powerful martial artists to have multiple wives. In fact, for someone like Lu Sheng, spreading his superior genes would be a contribution to the entire planet. Lu Sheng didn't expect her to throw out such a wild take, so he firmly refused again, adding that he's not interested in someone Wan's age. Lin Jingu pauses and thinks for a second. Then, with a bit of a blush creeping up, she glances at him and says, "Well then, my lord, what about me?" Lu Sheng breaks into a cold sweat the moment he hears her. Before he can even refuse, Lin Jingu is already leaning into the moment. She casually explains that her husband died young, and she's been single for years. Serving someone like Lu Sheng would be okay for her. As she speaks, she even presses her arms together in front of her chest for emphasis. Lu Sheng stumbles a step back, completely caught off guard. What the hell is this development? He thinks, a widow route? This is heading into a whole new genre of story. He coughs twice, trying to keep things on track. He declares that she should respect herself and insists he's not that kind of person. Welp, seems like our boy is still on track to becoming the strongest and not here to collect side quests. Lin Jingu looks a little disappointed, but she doesn't push it. Instead, she smoothly shifts the topic and asks, "So you're really not planning to return the energy crystals?" Lu Sheng suddenly turns toward her, eyes sharp. "Word by word," he replies, "should I be returning them?"